Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 273. And Chris is sitting across from me.
Yeehaw!
Look, that rhymed.
273. Chris is sitting across from me. Woo! Sitting in the Lance. We're tired.
I'm a poet and didn't know it.
It's been you're still rhyming, man. Not making it happen. I don't know about you, but I'm tired. It's been a long week.
You're turd. Well, yes, it's been a great week, and this is our Sierra Trek Meadow Lake wrap up.
That's right.
Podcast, and so you missed out on the actual trek.
I did.
Damn work got in the way again.
I know. They're gonna take a chapter out of your book.
But you rolled in Monday night to staging, and then rolled into camp early Tuesday morning.
Yep, like 6:30 in the morning. I was almost completely set up and ready for my first cup of coffee, which was also a cocktail.
Oh, hey, how about that? There was a little amaretto spilled in from the cabinet above into it.
That's right. That's right.
That's a nice little morning wake up, little amaretto.
Yeah, easy drive in.
Tawaka. No, I'm sorry, it's Tawaka.
Tawaka, yes.
Tawaka. Needs more Tawaka. You know what that movie reference is from? The Worms? Men in Black?
No.
They're in there. Then needs more Tawaka. Okay, anyways.
I don't remember that line. I've seen the movie a few times, but anyway. So, yeah, this, like Jason said, this is our recap for King of
the Hammers, yes, 2025.
A lot of stuff went down. I know there was a lot of stuff that happened before I got there, and Jason can talk to all that stuff. And there was, a good crowd. The bar was hopping. There was whiskey tasting. There was lots of stuff happening.
Lots going on. Yeah, it was. Weather was good. We had a little smoke from the fire Friday, but it cleared out Saturday. Saturday was a beautiful day. But, got there Thursday afternoon. Wayno had a spot for us there. And, of course, he had his IUD mesh network all set up for the entire camp. I think on Saturday night he was saying, or Friday night or Saturday night, 126 people were on his mesh network.
Wow.
On the Starlink.
Was he taking donations again?
I don't know how that was working out. I know he had QR codes in town there. Mm-hmm. But, so got up there Thursday, and Justin and Kelly were there. And then Friday, James and Rhonda rolled in. Justin Wicks and his girlfriend rolled in. And then DFab, Anthony, and his family, whole family was there in his brand new 5-seat buggy. Woo-hoo. Yes, that was cool. So he unloaded that, cruised around camp. A lot of people gawking at it. And then let's see, Thursday night we just kind of chilled. Friday night we did a night run. So Anthony, James, Rhonda, myself. I don't know. I'm forgetting who was riding with
Pete
me.
Here?
Kelly was riding with me, or who was riding with me?
Pete was here too, right?
Kelly. Oh yeah, Pete was here. I forgot. Yeah, Big Pete was in the other camp, just down from us, with Kevin in his new bomber. So
that's right.
Pretty cool. But yeah, so of course he was down there, and we went down to Winch Hill 3 and for the shit show, and it was a shit show.
Friday night shit show.
Yep. Toyota's banging off the rev limiters, banging off the walls in the box on 3. There was some good action going on. I did a couple lives from there, so if you caught that, but it was a good watch. And then it started getting super crowded, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to get stuck down here. As it was, I was pinned in.
Oh, boy.
But, Dave was there as well in his Fordyce. Yeah. So he was parked behind me. Of course, with the Fordyce, he was able to wiggle his way out, and that gave me some room to get out. So we're like, yeah, let's get ahead of this mess that's going to go up the trail. Let's get back to camp before midnight. And I think we did. So that was good. And then sat around the fire, which was propane fire pits this entire trip, which better than nothing, but sucks because
cold.
it was cold. The weekend was okay the first weekend, but then it got cold as the week progressed at night. And I never turned on the heater in the camper, but I saw 49 degrees on my thermometer one morning. So. And then we had some wind, but we'll get into that. But so then Saturday was just hanging out in camp, and I love Saturday at Trek just because there's so many people I see once a year at that event.
Shaking babies and kissing hands.
Exactly, handing out stickers. So that was a lot of fun, and got caught up with a lot of people checking out rigs, the vendor show. They had a good vendor show again.
They had the car show.
The car show was going. Dolly's V-Cross won ugliest rig.
Oh, good.
Kelly's Scarlet JKU LR917, whatever the code is on that thing. Jeep Alphabet. She won most cloaked out, metal cloaked out.
Oh, good.
Let's see.
I didn't know that was an award.
Oh yeah, that was an award because Metal Cloak was sponsoring the event.
Well,
so they get to make up their own awards.
That's right.
I think James had his buggy in there, but he didn't win anything. Who else? Somebody else brought home some hardware that I know. Sue Lee Bunn. Sue Lee Bunn brought home some hardware for best trail rig, I believe.
Oh, good.
Most setup or best trail rig, something like that.
Cool.
With her truggy, so that was cool. And then catching up with people. Of course, went over to the bar a couple times, and the Boonie Bouncers were running the bar. They had a great bar going.
Good
there. But they had two girls on one side, and then this guy over on the other. And I went up and I went right to the girls. He goes, "Why didn't you come over here?" I'm like, "It's pretty obvious, dude. Sorry. All the tips go back to Cal 4 Wheels." So. But anyways, good. They were pouring some. They had antifreeze and all kinds. They had like 4 or 5 drink concoctions,
So
rum based. One was like a pina colada deal. I'm like, nope. The antifreeze was the only one that I thought about trying. It was a vodka based one,
and it was green, obviously.
Yeah, so Midori was in there. So it'd be like a Midori sour type thing. But I was like, no. Let me just go with Jack and Coke. Go with what I know.
Keep it safe.
Yeah, go with what I know, please. So then the whiskey tasting. The girls were going around, Kelly and Shannon were going around selling tickets for the whiskey tasting. It was $25, and you got a souvenir glass. I don't know where. Yes, some of it did. It was a fundraiser too. I don't know if all of it did. They donated the whiskey. I don't know how that all worked. There was supposed to be a whiskey connoisseur.
Okay.
That was supposed to be there that set this whole thing up, bought the bottles, set everything up, and he didn't show.
Oh.
He got stuck in traffic, something, and
might be lost in the woods.
I was waiting because I was like, I love to get educated. I'm passionate about whiskey. I like to learn all that I can about whiskey, and I thought, well, and they were selling it, man. Kelly and Shannon were like, hey, this expert's coming in. It's going to be great. You guys are going to have fun talking about all this stuff, and never showed.
Oh boy!
But the whiskey tasting itself was good.
Right on.
So they were in these. There was 9 tastes.
Oof. 9
yeah, taste, and so everybody was lining up with their little, and they were black shot glasses, which was great because when you're doing a true blind tasting, you should have a black wine glass, black glass, so you don't see
the
color or anything of and start going off that. Your only senses are taste and smell. Right. So I'm like, okay. This is good. And so everybody's, they're doing half-ounce pours or whatever, 1-ounce pours, depending on how heavy their handed they were. They all had the bottle stoppers on them.
Oh, uh-huh.
So going through, and then they gave you a little tasting card. Well, it was like, it was silly. It was a number system. It was, I kept the card, but it was silly. I don't have it in front of me right now. But I'm like, no, I'm just going to make notes on the card like what you and I do when we taste. What we're tasting. Do we like it? Is it high alcohol? Is it, a Sauvignon Blanc, Basil Hayden style or what? So going through the tasting, and I'm like, the first 2 are like butterscotch, toffee, caramel, And somebody's like, oh, they're sweet. And I go, no, they're not sweet, but I'm just getting that caramel and butterscotch and stuff right off the get-go.
I like those types of bourbon.
Yeah,
whiskeys.
Exactly. So, I was going through and we're having conversations and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. There was quite a few people there. Horton was there with Lara, so that was good seeing them there, and a bunch of people were tasting.
Good.
So we go through them all, and I picked my favorite.
Okay.
And my favorite was number 8. Okay. I was tossed up between 5 and 8. And 5 was like, I really like 5. But 8, I was like, edged it out.
Okay.
And I had no idea what they were. I did see some bottle toppers, but they were upside down. And I told Shannon, or Kelly was there, I go, put those under the cover. I don't want to be persuaded by anything. Mm-hmm. And the last one, number 9, was like crazy hot. I mean, like, woo! And people were liking it. And I'm like, no. I mean, I'm like, no. And so it ended up winning. Number 9 ended up winning.
Oh, well.
So then they did the big reveal, right?
Wow,
Everybody
factor.
got tasted. You got to go back and retaste if you wanted to taste any. So I went back to 5, went back to 8. I'm like, 8's my number 1. But
Okay.
5's my second. And I would not throw number 5 out of the camper, for eating crackers in bed. So I go, okay, let's see what they are. So they're doing the reveal and going through each one. And so here's what we got. So number 1 was Georgetown Distillery, and it was a rye whiskey,
I like rye.
but it was finished in rum barrels.
Oh,
So that's what threw me off, and that's where I was getting the caramely and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Sweetness, yeah. So that was good.
All right.
Wasn't like, oh my God, best whiskey ever, but it was good. It was a good start. Number 2, Horse Soldier. We talked about Horse Soldier. It's the number 1 rated whiskey right now.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's about $85 a bottle. And I was happy. It was good.
Okay.
I was like, I liked number 2. So number 3 was back to Georgetown Distillery, and let me zoom in here. Come on, cooperate, phone. And it was just a bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
And I can't see. None of these were hot yet. None of them were cranked up. Number 4 was Engine 49, which is out of the Dry Diggings Distillery there.
Oh, yeah.
So they got, the Rubicon Rye.
Mm-hmm.
The Rubicon series is one label. The Engine 49 is another label. So that was just their bourbon, and it was good. And
120 proof.
60, yeah, 120 proof. That was a warm one. Okay, number 5, and I was super excited because I've always wanted to try this bottle and I never have. And it's Noah's Mill, and it's one of those highly rated bourbons, and it's a Kentucky bourbon, and it's 57, so 114 proof, and it was
Got a little pow to it.
yeah, but it was smooth. It was delicious.
Oh, good.
And some people were like, "Oh, that one's real low alcohol." I go, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And it was 114, and I was like, "Man, that's right in the wheelhouse for me." So I was starting to doubt myself from listening to other people. I wasn't persuaded, but I was starting to doubt myself.
Uh-huh.
But I was glad I stuck with my guns. I'm like, nope, I like 5, I like 8. I'm staying with those. I'm not listening to the other yahoos. Number 6 was an interesting one. It was called the Young Prince. Never heard of it, never seen it. Bourbon whiskey, Superior California bourbon whiskey, 55 months old, 46 proof. So, I don't know. It was there.
You're not impressed.
I wasn't. I'm not doing backflips over it. How about that?
All right.
Okay, 7. I was like, I like it, and I know I've had this before, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But it was the Rubicon Rye.
That's good
The
stuff.
Rubicon Rye, and I need to get more of that. I am out of that. I need to go down to Dry Diggings, and that is an 80 or 96 proof. 96 proof. Yeah, that's a good whiskey. Had that actually out on the Rubicon. Oh my God, I'm forgetting their names right now. They're with the Mad Hatters, but they got married out there a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't remember their names.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know who you are. I'll remember here in a second. Okay, number 8.
The one you liked.
Number 8 was my number 1,
Oh, that's a good one.
and it was Woodford's Reserve 124.7 proof. Now, this is the vial that Taylor sent us that we really liked.
Yep.
So you've already tasted this.
I have.
When we did that tasting.
Master's
that Taylor,
Collection.
Yep. Master's Collection.
It's like
Woodford's Reserve.
$20 bottle.
Never met Woodford's that I didn't like. $160 at Rayleigh's in Gardnerville.
Oh,
That's what that bottle retails for. Number 9. I'm just going to let you read this one. That's the number 1 whiskey out of all that everyone picked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye.
Yeah. And what's the fucking what's the flame? What's the heat rating on that one?
136.5.
Yes, sir.
Woo! Keeping it real, Jack.
I mean, and I tasted it. I wasn't mad at it, but I wasn't like, oh, I want to sip this all day. You know, it's like one of those, oh, that's good. And I like ryes, and I've had Jack Daniel rye before, but holy hell, that was a fireball, man. It was hot.
I think people go for the pow factor.
I don't know.
You know,
and I will say some people were tuned up before they went tasting.
Oh, God. Sierra Trek.
It was Saturday.
Imagine that.
It was Saturday at 11 o'clock, I think we started. But, yeah, some people were tuned up. But it was fun.
That, you'd be pretty tuned up.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really wish the whiskey expert was there to talk about each bottle and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. So I would have loved to share some convos with them. But anyways,
sure.
They never made it.
Hopefully that'll be an annual event. I would like to be able to participate next year.
Yeah.
Do the tastings, and you know that'd be fun.
It was really good, really good.
Cool.
So so that was Saturday, and then of course we just chilled in the afternoon. I didn't do any wheeling Saturday. James was working on his buggy. Unfortunately, he was having some issues with the fuel injection. It was running so rich. What else? Oh, let me back up. So Thursday we went down to meet up. The Mad Hatter's coming up. John and Renee, Morgan. So they were coming up the trail. So we got to see them come up Windshield 5.
The full trail.
Yeah.
Run.
And the other surprise, I'm looking down. I'm like, what? This yellow and black Jeep's coming up. Old Willie's.
Oh,
Ned Bacon. None other than Ned Bacon's coming up the trail, and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, dude, I need to talk to him about this event that I'm doing here soon. And so I go, Ned. So we got caught up. It was good to see him. Good to see the Killer Bee is the name of his rig.
Oh,
it's
good.
been through so many different iterations. But that was him, Jimmy Nyland. You know, they all wrote for Four Wheel Drive magazines and stuff. Ole Olson, all the flat fender guys would tire stack in Sierra Trek town, you know, right by the stage. It was like the Saturday afternoon and everybody gathers around and they'd start tire stacking and stuff. And I thought that was the coolest thing. You know, this is back in the early 90s. And, you know, now rigs are driving on top of each other in camp. So, you know, it's evolved quite a bit. And there's so many more buggies and stuff out on the trail.
Oh,
and,
of course.
But it was cool to see. It was see some of the nostalgia there and get caught up with Ned. And then we went back down there Friday afternoon and watch some more people come up. So that was cool. The Placer Sheriffs and OHV, State OHV, there was a presence that was good on Windshield 5.
Oh, good.
And in camp.
Things were a little bit more tame.
Oh, it was fine. It was great. And it was great. I went down and started talking to them, and they go, hey, wait a minute, I recognize that voice. So a couple of them listens to Wheel and Wine and Whiskey. So got them some stickers, and so shout out to you guys. Thanks for listening.
And thanks for doing a great job.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. So Matt from Portal Pros, he's the one that rode down with me on Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Matt and Scott and Ian were there from Portal Pros, and they had a cool display. Yeah, when we went down Friday night to Windshield 3. So they had their the prototype, the 3D printed one at Hammers that we got to see. So they still had that one there, but then they had a metal. You know, they started actually carving it out of metal, machining it. So
cool.
It's cool to see. They had a great display that was showing the difference of, I think, a 42 with no portal axles, you know, totally parallel to the ground.
Oh, yeah. And 35.
35 or 37 with a portal. Yeah. So that was a great visual right there of what
For sure.
clearance you get.
And then portals are definitely going to be a game changer, no doubt.
Yeah, and not to mention the gear reduction stuff. So I know they are having a special right now. I think it was $10,000 for all four corners portals early order program. So if you
what vehicle like
for the newer Jeeps, you go to their website. I believe it's portalpros.com, but look them up, do a Google search, and check them out if you're interested, and talk to them. Matt Scott, they will walk you through everything and get you on an early order program. So a little shout out to them.
Right on.
Yeah. The other thing that happened Saturday before the whiskey tasting, I'm jumping all around here. There was a lot going on. Careflight came in.
Oh,
luckily not for anybody. They came in just to, be on display and answer questions and stuff. Yeah, and sign up, right? Went over there, and it was just Rhonda and I walking over, and everybody else that was there when they first landed took off, so it was cool. We spent a good half an hour, 45 minutes talking to the pilot.
Oh, cool.
His name was Scott Cross, pilot for Careflight, and I think he's been doing it for about 12 years. I'm like, dude, what a killer job, and he's telling me some of the stories and everything, and there is not much room inside that chopper. So you got the pilot that's sitting off to the right as you're sitting in the cab there.
The cabin.
Yeah, the cabin, I guess you call it, whatever. So on the left is where the patient goes in and is sitting with their feet forward and then head back. And if they're a tall person, their head is in the crotch of the medic that's sitting in the back seat.
There's got to be I thought these birds were a little bigger.
So there's two medics in the back, and then the pilot. So there's three on board, and he helps out where he can, but he's not there doing tracheotomies and stuff like that.
He's flying the helicopter.
His job is to get the bird safely landed and get everybody in and out of the area, right? It was great. He's like, oh, you want to jump in? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to jump in. And it is tight. My knees were hitting the dash, and I'm not that tall, I
thought those helicopters were a little bigger.
Yeah, no, this particular one is not that they had. I guess they got quite a few of them, and this was one of the older ones. But it was cool. But I was like, man, there's not much room in there. But cool to see. It was cool that they came in and landed. Luckily, they got to stay for a while because they didn't have any calls. Yep. He was actually scheduled to be somewhere else, and the bird that was scheduled to land at Meadow Lake got called. So they had to go, and then they called Scott and said, hey, can you go to Meadow Lake? And he's like, heck yeah. Because he does this whole area, and Sonora and all that stuff. Yeah.
When you fly over everything, getting them from place to place is super easy.
Yeah, I think he said 17 minutes from Meadow Lake to Reno Hospital.
That's cool.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, not that you want to be on the helicopter for that reason.
No, not at all. So
we should get them on the show. That'd be
I gave him my card, so hopefully he reaches out. He said he was going to listen to the podcast, so if you're listening, Scott, reach out. We would love to have you on.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of trick. Sunday morning, people started packing up and headed out, and our weekend was our fun week was already beginning.
You guys moved into a great campsite.
We did get the
relocated on the point. Yep.
We talked about it, and I made it very clear. I said, hey, it's going to be windy. We call it Windy Point for a reason.
Yep.
Because you don't have the trees protecting you. The wind's coming right off the water right into camp. But it is beautiful camp.
Oh, it's great.
And we were, right there and had the kayaks right on the beach. We had a good, the water level had gone down the last few weeks. So, there was 15 feet of shoreline or so.
Yeah.
And then our camp, and I mean, it was awesome. But boy, the wind blew on Monday. You missed that.
Yeah, it blew again yesterday.
and then it blew again yesterday, all day.
I mean,
Saturday.
I like that campsite for the reasons you just described, but it's also a little bit off the beaten path, if you will. So people come racing through, main camp, or there's a lot of people that day trip in, and there's the roads. It's dry as a popcorn fart out there right now. So
right, exactly.
The dust is pretty horrendous.
It's so dusty this year.
But being down there on the point, this is the third time we've camped on the point. At least since I've been
you
going to
have
track.
Okay.
And I like it. I like the fact that it's a good sized space. There's plenty of good level spots for tents or RVs or Lance campers. It's a good place. It's a good view when you're cooking dinner and during campfires and stuff. It's a great campsite. So not to say that the other campsites around
no, they've all got their pluses, right?
Absolutely. One of the cool things, I brought my RC car,
that's right,
my axial RC car, and I was racing that around on the beach a few days of the week. That was I was building myself rock gardens and stuff, but obviously there's rocks everywhere.
So you arrived Monday night, and you there's a 10-mile dirt road in.
Yeah,
there's a 10-mile paved road, 9.5 miles from the Little Truckee Summit, it's called, and then you drop off the pavement onto dirt, and it's a 10-mile dirt road.
Right.
And so it takes an hour when you're towing camper, everything. If you're in your buggy, you go fast, but you shouldn't go fast on that road. I believe it's 25-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Well, and there's blind curves.
There's a lot of blind corners. There's been accidents out there, so be cautious. And even if you're in the middle of the week thinking you're the only one out there, I'm telling you, you're not, especially in the summertime.
And hunting season just started.
Yeah,
too,
that's right. That's a hunting zone. I think it was Zone D. There's Zone X. I don't know. There's all kinds. I'm not a big hunter, but Horton was kind of educating us a little bit last night because he was out there glassing and looking for
deer.
For deer, two-legged deer. No, he was looking for four-legged deer.
Four-legged. He's bow hunting.
So, but then you got there early Tuesday morning, and James and Rhonda and I, Dave, Pete, we were all planning on doing trail day Tuesday. Yeah. James's dad came into camp Tuesday morning, and he
must have been just right behind me.
Yeah, and that was great to see him. He's dealing with some medical BS, and so he came in, rode with James. Rhonda rode with me, and we went down the trail. And we said, "Hey, we're going down to Point 5. There's some mining stuff that they wanted to check out. I wanted to check out too, but his dad wanted to see." And his dad had been on the first part of the trail, been on the last half trail, but never in the middle. So he got to do the whole trail, see the rest of the trail.
That's cool. So all the wind chills.
Everything. Yeah, we went all the way down to, a cool waterfall. The river's going into a pond area. So, I don't know. Some people call it paradise. I call it the waterfall pond. Okay. But it's a great area right after Water Crossing 1 when you're coming up from Cisco Grove. Okay. So we didn't get to River Crossing 1.
So you go down Sunrise Hill, Water Crossing 1, and then it's a few miles or whatever to
where we were. No,
5.
Yeah. So Point 5. There's a Point 5 wind chill now. So I really wanted to get eyes on that because everybody's been talking about it lately. And it's a legit Point 5 wind chill. And then there's that crazy line on the right-hand side that's like this, rounded dome rock. So you get on that. There is a crack there that you can kind of get into, but there's some consequences if you don't negotiate it properly. It'll roll you off to the passenger side pretty hard.
Which would be bad.
So we found this mining boilers and these 55-gallon drums that were built back in the day when they knew how to build 55-gallon drums. I mean, these things were crazy thick. Yeah, I don't know what they weren't bringing up fuel. Everything was water steam powered.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I mean, there was hundreds of them littered throughout the hillside.
Lorenzo's ancestors were lugging those up there.
Probably. And then, where is he? He's still he's in the camper asleep. What the hell? But anyways, and then you see a cable going up the hill.
Okay.
So we started following that. Well, of course, that went to one mine, and there was another mine. You could see tailings way up there, but we're not hiking up there today. So we were hiking, and you just start looking around, and there's just, here's a test hole. And then you come up to the other one. Nope, this is a full-on mine. And it was like 55, 60-foot tall cut that they did, and there was these massive wood beams in there halfway up the walls that were, spreaders, basically, to keep it from collapsing. But it was all solid rock that they were chipping through. And I couldn't believe how, it was a tunnel.
Well,
not like a
dynamite. Too.
Most mines, you're like having to duck a little bit, or it's just right at 6 foot level or so, or 5 foot level. Dude, this thing was fucking tall, and I wanted to go down in there. You could see daylight on the other side. But it was steep going down in there, and I'm like, dude, if we had a rope, I would feel better about getting back out of this thing, but it was going to be a rough climb out. So I'm like, nope, I'll just take some pictures.
And those tailings are sharp.
Yeah, they are. That rock is, and then his dad found, he goes, hey, Jason, come here, look at this down tree. And it was an old dead tree down, and towards the top of it, it had ceramic insulators, and that was for the telegraph wire that they ran up and down the hill to talk to each other.
No shit.
I'm like, wow. And then there was remnants of an old stamp mill, big old, the metal, the shafts are like 2+ inches in diameter, and leather belt driven, I'm assuming, steam powered, just crazy shit. Found some lot of railroad tracks, for the ore carts and stuff for the railroad. So just a ton of cool shit. I did post some videos. Be patient if you're into mining. You'll enjoy them. But I posted some lives that we did walking around there, so you can check that out on the gram and see what we were looking at. But anyway, so that was cool stuff. Tuesday, so we went down the trail a little further to the Paradise Waterfall Pond area, and then had lunch. So it was about 1 o'clock. We had lunch, and so 1:30 we're headed back up the trail. It only took us from the top. There was only 4 vehicles, and it only took us just over 30 minutes to get down to Committee Crossing from camp.
Wow.
And we weren't like motoring, but we weren't stopping either. It was just drive.
Well, that's 4 very well set up rigs.
Yeah. So that was cool. So anyways, now we're coming back up the trail. So we come up to Point 5, which isn't too far from the Waterfall Pond area. And of course, now we're going to try the hard side on the right.
Of course.
So James gets tires on it, and he took like 4 or 5 stabs at it and then made it. I'm like, sweet. So then I got to try. And I took a couple stabs at it and made it. And then, Dave in the 4-steer buggy, no problem. Pete was already ahead of us. He didn't do the hiking stuff. He's not built for hiking. Yeah, so he was going up and down the trail and stuff and playing around. And then, we just continued up, and then Windshield 1. I love Windshield 1. Windshield 1's so much fun, and it's not crazy hard, but it's difficult.
Yeah,
it is a true windshield, and you get to that top, the wedge, and you place your tires right. You stay pretty level, and traction's good. So we just kept motoring up the trail, and we were picking hard lines. We were headed back to camp. We still had plenty of daylight, and so that was great. We got through the second water crossing, third water crossing, and you're coming up to Windshield 3 and the box. And so, yeah, and I fought that thing prior to a couple days prior, and I didn't make it. It slipped off. I was trying to climb the right side. It slipped off, and there is a rock on the far left side at the top of the wedge that is undercut, and my tire got into there, that 43, and it was bound. And I'm like, this ain't good. You if you hammer, you're going to break something. Yep. So, okay, let's, wiggle the tires, unstick it, back out, try another line. It kept falling into the hole, and I'm like, damn it. So I'm like, okay, new day, got to try again. And got into the box, and James, of course, just greased it. And then I came in, took a different line, and finally made it. I actually hugged the left side more, and that worked for my wheelbase. The problem is there's this huge freaking rock that's like 5 foot by 3 foot, and it's sticking up, and it grabs everybody's diff. I've got quite a bit of clearance under my rear axle, but it grabs everybody, and you just got to either muscle over it, get some momentum, and just power through it, or you try and gracefully crawl, and hopefully your tires stick, and then you can just get beyond it.
Yeah.
But then there was Windshield 3.5.
I know, Windshield 3. When did all these half windshields?
Well, Windshield 3.5's been around for a while, like 10 years that I can remember. But It was easy. The left side line as you're going up, it lasts 3-4 years has been difficult. I mean, it gives a challenge.
A lot of roots.
There's roots, there's rocks and loose, but somebody moved some rocks, something, and it was like easy the whole weekend. It did get harder as this week went on. So many rigs have been on the trail lately. But to the right of that is a wall, like a 5-6 foot wall, and so that's a good buggy playground right there. And we tried that, and I couldn't make it. James couldn't make it.
Really?
And I'm like, damn it. And so that was the one line I couldn't conquer this week. James ended up making it day before yesterday, right before we left. He gave it a couple more stabs, and he hugged the left side, and that was the ticket.
Good.
And he made it. And, anyways, they can go up 4 and 5, and 4 is nasty. Nasty. That one just keeps getting torn up each year, and that's a huge challenge. But a lot of fun. And then, you're up at 5 and hello, back at camp. So really, really good trail day. What time did we leave? We leave at like 8, I want to say.
Oh, in the morning? Yeah. 8:30, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, it was 9 o'clock. I remember it was 8:59 or something when we started the trail on 5. And then we were back at camp by 4:30.
Yeah.
And after hiking around for a couple hours. So
that's right.
That was a great day.
Yeah, you guys were tired. Everybody was a little tired.
Oh, that was a long day. Yeah. Yeah. Wednesday was a chill day in camp.
Well, we had more people showing up on Wednesday, so we wanted to kind of be around to get them situated. Our good friend Jesse and Dave, one half of our law firm, Code Nolson, arrived in camp on Wednesday, and then anybody else arrive on Wednesday, or that was it?
That was it.
So we're sliding into the week, man. And I'm just chilling like a villain. I'm in one of my favorite places.
Well, what did you do Tuesday? Because we were getting random texts from you across the trail.
I day drank,
and you were wheeling,
and I was wheeling my RC car down on the beach and having a ball.
There was some funny text going back and forth, and you said Lorenzo's driving the buggy or something, and
no, we were gonna. You said something about come on down, and I said, "Oh, Lorenzo's unloading the camper from your truck right now."
Oh, that's right.
And he's just said he's gonna send it.
He's gonna send it. Take the F-350 down the trail. The old Luma Duty would look like a Coors Light can that's been crushed at the campfire. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I may have gotten a little deep into the Jack and Cokes at that point. But,
yeah, you had a good first day.
Yeah, I did. I had to slide into it.
Quiet camp.
I had to get caught up.
Yeah, and you had a quiet camp.
That's right.
All to yourself.
I did.
So that was good. So Wednesday we of course played around on the trail just down to 3 and stuff and back, but we also we started our front 9. Oh no, that wasn't Wednesday. That was Thursday. We started the front 9 of the Meadow Lake Masters.
The Meadow Lake Masters
Invitational Golf Tournament.
That's right.
So Meadow Golf. We talked about this before on the podcast. We did it last year, and it is a freaking blast, man. And we actually had a little teeing surface this year. We had some artificial turf as the tee, and we just rotate. You pick holes. You're like, okay, we're going to go to that rock over there. We're going to go to this, little tree in the meadow here, or whatever it is.
Imagine hitting a ball off of a grass mat into a rock.
Yeah.
A rock garden.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
Ricochet rabbit.
My ball went kapong into the water. She gone.
Yeah, but I picked up those balls. I recovered those balls.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I took the kayak out because it was only yours was like a foot of water.
Oh, it's shallow.
Mine was towards the engine. It was like 3-4 inches of water. In fact, the kayak got high centered, and I had trouble getting out of there. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun, and
played 9 holes on Thursday, and I didn't play on Friday. My knee was talking to me.
So you didn't play, but Dave Ainsworth stepped in on Friday.
Oh, good.
So he actually wasn't sewing himself very well, but he hit some good shots. He says, I don't play golf. I don't play. Well, he hit some good shots. So, and you really don't have to be good at golf. It's total luck of the draw of where the ball hits, bounces. It's
ricochet pachinko machine golf. I mean, it was fun. I mean, we, like you said, we picked a target. The first target was a stump on the other side of the lagoon. And then the second was I picked the second target was a tree that was about I don't know, 100 yards away.
Yeah.
And then we had to basically play until you hit the ball.
Yeah, whatever
the target.
Yeah, you make the rules up, for your hole of what constitutes finishing the hole.
That's right.
And there's no par 3, par 4. It's just whatever it takes you to do it.
Whatever. Yep. I mean, it was fun. A lot of fun. We had a good time with it. We had to take a break in the middle. What do you want to call that? An intermission to reload our drinks.
Oh yeah. We were running low on drinks. We did. Did you have your pedometer on? How many miles did we do?
I forgot to track the first few holes, but we ended up walking almost a mile.
Yeah.
Each day. Well, you probably did the same thing the next day.
Second day. So it was more.
A lot of activity. So, I mean, I wasn't just sitting around camp, honestly. I took a walk around Summit City each morning or each one afternoon. I was staying active. It was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody can do what they want to do when they're at Meadow Lake. If you want to kayak,
chill.
If you want to paddleboard, you want to fish, you want to wheel, you want to walk, you want to read, whatever. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, and we didn't go shooting. We normally go shooting one day, but because of the fire danger, no shooting, and didn't want to ricochet any sparks there. So
Negative.
So we didn't do that. We normally do that, but it's all good. We had that's right. So I get a text. Oh shoot! It was this Sunday of trek, Saturday or Sunday of trek from Boston Kyle.
Oh yeah,
Boston Kyle,
EVE Ultra 4.
And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Next Thursday we're going to be at Meadow Lake and go 4-wheeling. Come with us." And I'm like, I said, "You're late. I'm already here, and I'm going to be here." So
right.
So that was cool. So Ultra 3, Derek and Boston Kyle, all them roll into camp on. They set up their own camp, but we got to see them, and that was awesome. And
they had the trikes.
They had like 10 trikes with them. They were the big balloon tire,
right?
3-wheelers. So you want smoother ride, you just air down. But yeah, that was cool. They had some badass rigs, and so they rolled in on Thursday, and so Friday they were doing the trail,
right?
And so I said, okay, well, we got our golf tournament to do here in the morning. We're going to let you guys go down, and why you can text us from Committee Crossing, and we'll meet you at Windshield 3. And it freaking worked out perfect. So they went and did their thing in the morning. We played golf, went back, had some lunch, headed up to Windshield 5, and I get a text from them. Hey, we're at Committee. I'm like, perfect. We'll be down there. We're almost to Windshield 3 when I got the text, I should say.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, we'll meet you there. So we waited there, and sure enough, here comes their entourage of 6 or so vehicles. Mm-hmm. And there was a Grand Vitara. Suzuki Grand Vitara. Obviously modified.
Okay.
But so they were all hitting the box, and everybody was making it up, and the Grand Vitara got in there. Well, he got wedged at the top severely. Okay. I mean, like, wedged. And we're like, oh, don't go forward anymore, and then he was able to wiggle the wheels a little bit and get out. So we're like, okay. And he's like, I got to try again. And he tried again, almost had it. Boom. Gets wedged again. But this time we're watching the front diff pumpkin cover is pointed to the sky, and the front drive shaft is pointing into the box.
Yeah, it's not supposed to do that.
No, there was severe angle going on. We're like, whoa, something's broken. Sure as shit, he broke one of his track links there. It's a 3-link suspension, so the upper link broke.
Okay.
Almost all the way off. Not all the way, but almost all the way off. We were watching the front shocks move back and forth like 6 inches. It was scary. We're all just, there. I'm like, hey, this isn't my rig or anything, but finally they all spoke. Like, whoa, don't go. So we had to do some creative winching to get him out of there.
I bet.
And then got him out. Basically had to lift up so we weren't pulling down on the suspension, and to relieve the pressure, and then was able to free it. And he drove out, and then it was like, okay, we need ratchet straps. So somebody ran back to camp and got more ratchet straps, because we went up and we waited for them at 5. And Chad went up and got more ratchet straps, and then came back down, and they strapped it, and was able to get him back to camp. He went up, 4, and and 5 and back to camp.
Did
So
he still have front? Did he still have
there
front
goes
drive?
Kevin in the Bomber. Well, Bomber's on a trailer.
Yeah.
Do they still have what?
Did they still have front wheel drive? Mm-hmm. Oh, no shit.
Yeah, everything was still intact, and they gave him a tug, just to take pressure off of it. But they made it back to camp, so that was cool.
Good.
So, yeah, and then so I said, hey, they were planning on going back down Saturday and go down to 0.5 or something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then I saw them, and they said, oh, we're getting an earlier start. Well, then I saw them on the 3-wheelers in camp, and I go, wait, aren't you supposed to be on trail? They go, yeah, we partied a little too hard last night. We're just going to go play down at 3 and come back up. So,
nice.
Yeah. And then they were gone early this morning, Sunday morning, and I was like, damn it.
Well, some of them had pretty long drives.
Yeah, I caught one of them. I'm trying to think of his name. Boy, I'm forgetting names right now. It's been a very relaxing week. But yeah, caught him and said goodbye, and we got out of there because it got busy this weekend.
Oh, it did. It really did. There was quite a few groups, side-by-side groups, quads. There were a lot of rock buggies came in. I guess there was some sort of ceremony that was held down at Winchell 5.
Yeah, so that was for Jason that we did that podcast with his buddy, and that was that a year and a half ago? Almost 2 years ago?
It was,
year and a half ago, I want to say.
A year and a half ago.
At Moon Rocks, where he rolled
Yeah.
his rig. There was 4 people in there. I was talking to a couple of guys that were in the rig. They fixed it up. They had his rig back out there. So it was good to see everybody, but they were up there to spread his ashes.
Yep.
Winchell 5 and down at Committee, I believe. So yeah, it was good to meet some of those people that we heard the story of. So you can go back and listen to that podcast. We'll have to look.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, what episode that was? But I think it was about a year and a half ago, and it was that Moon Rocks rollover incident, that tragedy, and Jason lost his life. So yeah, his wife was out there, and a bunch of his friends, obviously, to spread his ashes. So
somber moment. For
it
sure.
was. But it's cool to see. I mean, if that ever happened to me, I want you guys to do the same thing.
For sure.
Just don't put me in the box on 3. There's just too much oil and stuff down in there. There's so many metal shavings from the ribs.
Oh boy.
It's not a good spot.
No.
But put me at the top of 1. 1's a good spot. I like 1.
All right. You heard it here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. This is Jason's final request.
Yeah, there you go. Or throw me in the Excelsior mine. Maybe I'll be rich finally.
Right. Well, that's awesome. There's so many things that happened and went on. I mean, I don't know. This show could go for multiple hours if we talk about every single thing that went on and went down. But it was a fun week. We had a great time. Everybody seems to. I know the chow you guys were eating was off the cuff as usual.
Good food as usual. Breakfast and lunch. We had, of course, Dave brings in his famous secret recipe. Michigan sauce. Yeah, the Michigan dogs with Michigan sauce. Oh my God. So yeah, we always eat well. Probably gained a few pounds. That's all right. We'll get back on the mountain bike here. And did a lot in though in between. So we'll see. I'll get on that scale, but I bet a couple pounds
walking
extra.
Walking around camp, hiking,
Yeah.
You were active. I mean, you never
it was
stopped.
Go.
I mean, you went out in your kayak a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I love it up there. And then, so the final night, Saturday night, it was windy and cold all day.
God.
All day. We went out on trail, and the dust is just insane right now. Oh, God. I mean, it's always dusty up there, but it's like, and it's this really fine, like talcum powder consistency dust. And, man, the wind was whipping that up yesterday. It was so brutal. You can hear I'm stuffed up right now. I mean, it's going to take a week to purge the dust out. But we went down to 3, came back up, and got, thought we'd get out of the wind on the trail. That didn't work out so well.
No.
And then down in the canyon, got back to camp, and we sat out on the beach. It was kind of nice, on the water. I mean, you were getting sun, so you weren't cold.
Yep.
But the wind blew. I mean, and it blew hard at times. And so then we started packing up, and it's always somber, It's like, okay, then what are we doing for dinner? And it's like, okay, well, I got this, I got that. It's always leftovers the last night.
Yep.
And luckily, Pete had the, McMansion there, the Super C four-wheel drive motorhome.
Yep.
And he said, hey, we just go cook in my place, and we ended up doing some French bread pizzas.
They were good.
This came out good, man. He has this convection microwave oven, and Tom Rosa was in there, cooking it up for us. So that was great. And then we started watching movies. What movie did we watch?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles and surround sound.
Oh my God.
So that was a ton of fun. And then you left. There was still Tom and I in there, and
Code and Pete.
Olson was in there, and of course Pete. And
not Olson.
I'm Code and Olson. I was saying of Code and Olson. So yeah, I'm going, man. I'm ready for another movie. We finished Blazing Saddles, and we caught the last half of Office Space because Pete had his TV going there, some satellite dish or something, and so we watched that. And then it was just Pete and I, and we finished off the whiskey. And I go, okay. We started watching some other movie that wasn't that good, and then I said, okay, we're out. So then in the morning, Sunday morning, it was pack up time and get everything hooked up and
last
out of camp.
gasp.
Yeah. So, and Pete, I saw him like move his rig, his single seat spider buggy, and next thing I know, he's like all hooked up, ready to go. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, I think he does everything on his phone. He just hits button, the slide ends come in,
magic.
everything just disconnects and is ready to go, and connect it up, whatever it needs to do, it does it, and then he just turns the key and goes.
Yeah, and then it drives itself. I guess he's probably got a little man somewhere in there.
Oh, there could be a couple. Could be a whole family of them.
Like cleaning crew and a whole deal.
I'll tell you, that is plush, and it's nice to have an RV like that when it's nasty outside to get out of the wind and the cold.
A nice place, nice refuge.
Because the fire pits, just those little propane pits, they're good for ambiance, but boy, they don't put out the heat.
No.
So it's cold.
We're getting soft on our old age.
We are.
But,
I miss my Peter heater.
Yeah.
We usually have the Peter heater rocking morning and night up there, but nope.
No fires
this year.
And if you come up,
and I'm okay with that.
No fire.
Yeah,
no fire.
and I'm okay with that. So, yeah, so great trip in the books. Looking forward to getting home. It's going to be a week's worth of cleaning now, but always worth it. The buggy did great. Didn't break anything that I know of. It's still running. Drove on the trailer fine. So, going to go through that with a fine-tooth comb and get it ready for. Got a Rubicon trip coming up, and then Trail Hero, which we'll be talking about that in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right around the corner. Right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
5 weeks.
Yeah, way too close.
Wow. All right. Well, that's I'm glad I made it up here to Meadow Lake for post Sierra Trek. I had a ball my own way. It was fun. I'm tired. I want to go home now, and yeah. So if you want to get a hold of us, how do you do that?
Well, right before, I just want to ask you what your highlight of the trip was.
I was probably playing with my remote-controlled car and playing Meadow Golf.
Oh, there you go. All right, those are good highlights. One of my highlights that pop in, other than doing the mine sightseeing stuff, every year I find something new around this area. There's so much history, but watching Tom Rosa in the CJ5 just full sin mode on the trail.
No, he has no fear.
And Dave rode with him. Dave rode with him on Friday or Saturday when we went down there. Friday, I think it was. Oh my gosh! I mean, it's always wheels in the air. And he's full sin mode and just gets it. And it is fun to watch. So shout out to Tom Rosa doing CJ5 things.
That's right.
He puts the capital W in the Jeep Wave, man.
That guy has fun doing everything. He's just a fun guy, and yeah.
All right, yeah. So want to reach out on the gram? Hit us up on Wheel Wine and Whiskey. You can email Chris at wheelwineandwhiskey.com, Jason at wheelwineandwhiskey.com. You can hit us with the phone number 408-800-5169.
That's right.
The
408-800-5169. Also, we've neglected we sometimes neglect to mention some of our partners, and that's Irate 4x4. Austin has done a great job reviving that platform and making it a great place for people to share ideas and exchange photos and trip reports and whatnot. So check out irate4x4.com. It's a free website. You can sign up and get a username, and you can post and read and hang out.
Yeah. And don't forget, Moreflate Tyler keeps our website and stuff going, right?
That's right.
Yep. So, and Justin, we mentioned on the podcast previous, Justin Wicks, he had the Bora car in the Moreflate booth, and that thing's just so sexy.
And then we'll talk about it, but the Vegas to Reno.
They completed, so that's awesome. They had 550 miles, so.
We'll have an update on that shortly.
Yep, so Justin and the Wicks family racing there freaking completed Vegas to Reno, so congrats on that.
Very cool.
All right, and with that,
we're out.